Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we're taking a look at the Yakima StageTwo Gray Bike Rack and how it fits here on our 2024 Subaru Outback Wagon. If you're looking for a versatile and heavy-duty bike rack, this might be a good option for you. And we're focusing on how it fits here on our Subaru. So if you don't yet have a 2-inch hitch receiver for your Outback, you can find one custom fit right here at etrailer, just like the owner of this vehicle did, so that they can carry around the bike rack. The StageTwo is definitely going to have all of your premium features, including being able to be tilted away if you want access into your hatch. So you have a lever at the end that you just pull, and then you drop this down to a tilt. The big thing for me is that this doesn't go all the way down to the ground, which is good for my hands because then I can have all that support as I tilt the whole thing down and then open up the hatch door. Here you can see as it goes up, plenty of clearance between the door, our pedals, and our handlebars. I can now get into the hatch, grab whatever I need. If you're the type of person that likes to switch out your shoes before and after riding, you can do so without having to take your bikes off. This bike rack does have a lot of weight capacity for its bikes though, so that is something to be mindful. If you do have this loaded up with 2 heavy electric bikes, that might also be a lot of weight that you're lifting up and down to get into position. So with 2 bikes on there, I do recommend having a friend help you out with that extra weight. One of the main things you can be assured of with the StageTwo is that you're going to have a very sturdy fit on those bikes. This has that weight capacity of 70 pounds, and even with those heavier electric bikes, because of your 2 adjustable touch points, I'm not worried about any movement during the ride or the drive. Now, to remove this one touch point, which is going to be a rear wheel strap, I press the lever. That disengages the strap, and then we bring this up and out of the way. This is going to be an adjustable cradle where I actually slide that out of the way of our tire, and then I go over to the front touch point, which is going to be our front wheel hook. So here we also have a little cable lock that's integrated into the hook, where I can use that to secure each bike. Now in our case here, I'm going to press this button while I hold on to the bike, and that disengages the hook, brings this up and out, and now I can grab the bike and go. For some vehicles, or if you have your bike mounted on that last platform, you may want to consider getting a ramp add-on attachment if you have extra heavy bikes so you don't have to lift up and over. But on this lower platform, and since our Subaru isn't that high up off the ground, I can just roll the bike down and continue going. So even with those heavier electric bikes, this still makes it a fair bit easier to load and unload compared to other style bike racks. So let's take those measurements real quick. What I like to measure for is ground clearance, and sometimes that means how high up do we sit before we bottom out on the ground, which in this case, 21 inches, pretty high up. In other cases, it's how high do I have to lift the bike to get onto the rack, which we saw earlier. So the last one is going to be 22 inches off the ground, and the first tray is going to be 19.5 inches off the ground, which is pretty good for clearance. I'm not worried about bottoming out, and this isn't too high up where it would be a nuisance getting those bikes on there. But another measurement I like to do is how much length is now added to the back of the Outback. So if I measured from the bumper to the end of the rack, I'm right at 36 inches or 3 feet. Now that's a measurement worth knowing if you have a small garage or need to park into a tight spot, because that's going to be a lot more length added to the back of your vehicle. What you can do though is when your bikes are not on, you can bring this up into the compact or folded position. So measuring from the bumper to the end of the rack, this is now at 10 inches. Big difference compared to when it was in the drive position. And this is what it looked like for the people driving behind you. So for you, you have full visibility out of your rear window. People will still be able to see your taillights. Your license plate is a little covered, but your backup camera sits right there in that corner. So what's gonna happen is you are gonna have limited visibility through your backup camera, but just enough if there is a vehicle or person directly behind you, you will still be able to see them. I do recommend just relying on your mirrors though for full safety. With that in mind, while this does look like a large bike rack, it does sit pretty sleekly behind the Outback. When you get this installed, tighten down without any tools, just using that knob, you can lock everything into place. And with this looking so sleek, so shiny, by the way, this is the gray version. It's also available in black. This is something that a lot of people just leave on their vehicles pretty much full time. So if you're looking for something that's reliable and sturdy, that's definitely going to be the StageTwo bike rack. And if you're familiar with the Yakima brand, there's totally a reason why they've been industry leaders for a really long time. They've always made really dependable bike racks, and they've got plenty of options for different niche situations that you can check out right here at etrailer. But for a good all-around bike rack, this was a look at the Yakima StageTwo. You saw it in gray right here on our 2024 Subaru Outback.